The silence of space was broken by the faint hum of alien engines. Massive ships, like floating cities of metal and light, glided through the darkness, scanning the stars for any sign of their target. Commander Valier, the leader of the fleet, stood on the observation deck of the flagship Eclipse, staring at a tiny blue far below them. Earth, it looked fragile, peaceful, innocent, but the warning had already reached them, a cryptic message that had shaken even the most fearless of commanders. Do not attack the humans. They will never let you flee. Valier frowned, the words repeated in his mind, as if taunting him. He had faced countless civilizations in his lifetime, civilizations that had fallen in hours, sometimes minutes. And yet, a single message from a species barely visible in the vast galaxy made him pause. "Commander," said Lieutenant Rax, his second-in-command, breaking the tense silence. "Our sensors show minimal defenses. The humans are weak. We can strike now, and the planet will be ours." Valier shook his head. "Something is not right, Rax. No civilization has ever sent a warning like this. Either they are bluffing, or they are hiding something far more dangerous than we expect." The fleet moved cautiously, scanning the planet from orbit. On the surface, cities glowed with a soft blue light. Communication signals bounced through the atmosphere like threads connecting invisible machines. There was no panic, no massive war preparations. The humans seemed calm, too calm. In a smaller ship, the reconnaissance unit led by Captain Tierra hovered silently above one of Earth's major cities. Her eyes scanned the sensors, her mind racing. "Commander, I don't understand. Their defenses are scattered but coordinated. Every drone, every ship seems to know exactly where to go. They are ready but not aggressive." Tierra's voice trembled slightly, betraying her unease. Valier had expected confidence from his team. Fear was new, unwelcome, and dangerous. "Prepare the scanning arrays," Valier ordered. "I want to know everything about them. Every ship, every weapon, every pattern of behavior. I want a full analysis before we make the first move." The fleet obeyed. Waves of sensors shot toward Earth, probing the atmosphere, the oceans, and the crust beneath. Data flooded in at an astonishing speed. And then it started. Something strange. Something no alien had ever seen before. The humans responded to the scans, not with weapons, not with panic, but with action. Machines and drones moved into positions even before the aliens' arrays reached them. It was as if they could see through the eyes of the alien ships, anticipating every step. Lieutenant Rax's fingers flew across the console. "Commander! This is impossible. They are predicting us before we even act. How can this be?" Valier did not answer immediately. He studied the data, watching patterns unfold like a complex game of chess. Humans were not merely defending. They were controlling the battlefield with precision. And yet, they remained invisible, almost ethereal, to most conventional detection methods. "This is why the warning exists," Valier murmured, almost to himself. "They are not weak. They are unpredictable, deadly in ways we cannot measure." In that moment, the calm atmosphere of the fleet shattered. Reports came in from all ships. Minor skirmishes with automated defense drones resulted in heavier-than-expected losses. Alien weapons that had destroyed entire planets were barely scratching the surface. It was as if the humans had anticipated every strike, every maneuver, every weakness. On Earth, humans watched the alien ships with quiet focus. Leaders and scientists coordinated with unseen allies, their voices calm but sharp. A young strategist named Mara stood before a holographic map of the solar system, marking alien movements with careful precision. "Adjust the orbital drones to match their trajectory," she instructed. "Keep them thinking they have the advantage. Let them make the first mistake." Her team obeyed without hesitation. There was no fear, no panic, only calculation and strategy. Back on the Eclipse, Valier's unease grew. Every move they made was met with resistance that they could not explain. The humans' defenses were minimal in appearance, but lethal in execution. It was as if Earth itself was alive, watching, learning, and striking at the perfect moment. "Commander," Rax said, his voice tight with tension, "they are different. I've fought empires. I've destroyed planets. But these humans, they are not like anything I've seen. We cannot predict them. Every step we take is anticipated. Every attack countered. Valir felt a chill run down his spine. He had heard legends of civilizations that could manipulate technology beyond comprehension. He had never believed them. But now, facing humans, he understood the truth. Deploy the stealth units. Valir ordered. We need to gather more data, without engaging. Full analysis. No heroics. No attacks yet. We cannot afford a direct confrontation. The stealth units launched silently into Earth's orbit. They hovered above major cities, observing, scanning, learning. But even these stealth probes did not go unnoticed. Invisible sensors, automated systems, and perhaps human intuition itself detected their presence. One by one, the probes were disabled, not destroyed violently, but carefully and quietly. A message was transmitted in alien code. You are warned. Leave or you will not escape. Valir stared at the readout, his hands clenched. The aliens had never been warned by a weaker species before. Fear, a feeling long alien to him, crept in. What do they mean? Rax whispered, almost himself. They mean exactly what they said. Valir replied, if we attack, there will be no retreat. And somehow, they will ensure it. A sudden alert shook the flagship. A human drone had infiltrated deep into the fleet's perimeter. It moved with speed and precision, dodging detection, gathering information, and vanishing before the aliens could react. This is impossible, Rax said, his voice trembling. They're inside our systems, but there is no trace. No signatures. How? Valir did not answer. He knew the answer would terrify his crew. Humans were not just fighting back. They were beyond prediction. They were, perhaps, an evolutionary leap in strategy and warfare. As night fell on Earth, the planet glowed softly from space. Cities illuminated, not with fear, but with calm determination. The humans had set their trap, and the alien fleet, for the first time, realized that brute force would not win this war. Commander Valir made a decision. We halt the attack, he declared to his senior officers. Pull back. We need time. We need information. We underestimated them. Shock rippled through the ranks. Never before had an alien commander retreated without a fight. Pride, shame, and fear battled within every officer. But Valir's voice was firm, resolute. He had seen the turning point, the moment when the seemingly weak became stronger than the mighty. In the distance, Earth's communication signals pulsed gently through space. A final warning reached them, unmistakable and clear in alien translation. Do not attack the humans. You will not escape. Valir stood on the observation deck, watching the planet shrink in the distance as the fleet slowly moved back. His mind was heavy with realization. Humans were unpredictable, deadly, and perhaps the only species in the galaxy capable of standing against them. Somewhere in the heart of Earth, Mara smiled softly, aware that the humans had achieved what countless civilizations before them could not: survival against the impossible. They had turned an encounter that should have ended in annihilation into a lesson for the stars. And for the alien fleet, the unexpected turning point was clear. The humans were no ordinary species. They were a force that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. Valir's voice was barely audible, almost a whisper. They warned us, and now we know why. This war will not end in a day. It may not end in decades. And one truth remains clear: we cannot flee. Not now. Not ever. The fleet disappeared into the void, battered in pride, but alive. Earth remained, silent and calm, yet ready. The game had begun, and the humans had already won the first move. The alien fleet had retreated, but only just. Commander Valir knew that Earth had shown strength beyond imagination, but the lure of conquest was hard to resist. His pride demanded a closer inspection, a test of the humans' defenses. The fleet prepared a smaller, stealthier strike force, a squadron of sleek, fast ships, designed for reconnaissance and first engagement. Captain Tierra, known for her skill and precision, led the squadron. She glanced at the blue dot below. We will find out what they're capable of, she said, her voice steady. Inside, however, unease simmered. Something about Earth felt different. The ships moved silently, weaving between the clouds of the upper atmosphere. Earth's rotation made the mission urgent. They had a small window to gather intelligence before detection. On the surface, humans were aware. Mara, the young strategist who had orchestrated the previous defense, monitored the alien movements. She didn't panic. She had studied every signal, every trace of the alien fleet, and she knew their patterns. "Adjust the orbital drones," she commanded. "Prepare the decoy networks. Let them think they are unseen. We need to observe and wait for the perfect moment." Above the planet, the alien squadron hovered. Sensors swept the surface, scanning for defenses, but each sweep revealed nothing obvious. Cities remained calm, lights glowing softly in the night. There was no fleet, no army, no immediate threat. Just Earth, quiet, almost fragile. Captain Tierra frowned. How can this be? There is no visible military response. Are they truly unprepared? Her instincts screamed a warning, but her orders were clear. Observe, collect data, and return. Then it happened. One of the squadron's drones moved closer to the surface. Its sensors picked up a small, almost invisible object. Before the crew could react, the drone was disabled, silently, without an explosion. It fell from orbit, spinning, then vanished. Tierra stared at the readout. Impossible. There is no detection signature. Nothing should have been able to do that. Then they are hiding, Lieutenant Rax muttered. Or predicting us. The squadron pressed on cautiously. Another probe launched, moving toward a major city. Again, it disappeared. This time, a message reached the alien ships in alien code. Simple but chilling. Do not approach. Leave, or you will not return. Valir watched the report with growing unease. For the first time, fear touched him. Humans were not just offending. They were controlling the battlefield in ways he could not understand. Prepare the main strike, Valir ordered reluctantly. We need to test them directly. Small skirmish. No full engagement yet. The squadron moved into position, weapons charged. Energy beams glinted across the hulls of the ships. They waited for the order to fire. Below, humans continued to move like shadows in the night. Drone sensors and automated defense systems flowed like water across the cities. They did not panic. They did not flee. They adapted. Suddenly, one of the alien ships fired a test beam at a minor target, a city power plant. The beam struck, and yet nothing happened. Within seconds, the plant's energy systems rerouted, isolating the damage. Electricity flowed again, uninterrupted. Tierra's eyes widened. They are adapting instantly. Every system responds immediately. The humans were not just reacting. They were predicting. Every move the aliens made was anticipated, countered, and neutralized with precision. The strike that should have crippled the city had barely a visible effect. Bring the other ships in, Valir commanded, tension rising in his voice. We need full coordination. As the squadron engaged, more surprises awaited. Alien energy beams fired toward city defenses were intercepted mid-flight by autonomous drones, redirecting the energy harmlessly into the atmosphere. Alien ships found themselves trapped in invisible barriers, unable to advance beyond certain points. Lieutenant Rax shouted from the control panel, "Commander, they are controlling space itself around us. How is this possible?" Valir clenched his fists. The humans had turned their planet into a living trap. Every maneuver was anticipated, every attack neutralized, yet no retaliation was immediately visible. The alien squadron tried a new approach. Ships split into smaller units, attempting flanking maneuvers. They hoped to confuse the humans, to break the rhythm of their defense. But the humans adapted. Hidden sensors communicated instantly across the globe. Drones and automated ships moved in synchronized patterns, predicting alien trajectories before they even changed course. Energy fields rose in precise locations, blocking attacks, redirecting fire, and corralling the alien ships into zones of controlled movement. Captain Tierra's voice trembled. They know where we will be before we move. This is insane. Back on Earth, Mara observed every detail. Keep them under pressure but controlled. Let them think they're advancing. Led them where we want. The alien fleet found themselves trapped in an invisible chessboard. Every move they made was a calculated response by humans. It was not brute force. It was strategy beyond anything they had ever faced. In the midst of the chaos, the humans revealed another layer of control. Electromagnetic pulses disabled alien communication temporarily. Ships lost coordination. Sensors flickered. Panic spread among alien crews, a feeling they had not known in centuries of conquest. Valir realized the truth. Humans were not just defending. They were controlling. They had anticipated the alien technology, learned from it instantly, and turned it against the attackers. Retreat the damaged units. Valir ordered, "Pull back. We cannot sustain this engagement." But retreat was not easy. The humans had anticipated that too. Alien ships moving away were guided into zones where automated interceptors forced them to maneuver carefully. Escape was possible, but only at great cost. In a last attempt, Tierra directed her ship toward a small, unprotected region, hoping to test a weak point. As she fired, a massive energy barrier erupted from the surface, absorbing the blast and redirecting it harmlessly. She had underestimated humans' defensive reach. The alien squadron had no choice but to withdraw. Each ship limped back toward the fleet, damaged, confused, and shaken. The humans had shown them what raw power and strategy combined could achieve. On the observation deck of Eclipse, Valir stared at Earth, silent. The humans had not fought with brute force. They had fought with intelligence, prediction, and coordination. A single planet had bested an advanced strike squadron in their first engagement. Lieutenant Rax broke the silence. "Commander, do you realize what this means? If one small attack fails like this, what happens when they mobilize fully?" Valir's face darkened. He had seen many worlds fall, empires crumble, and civilizations wiped out. But Earth was different. The warning was true. "They warned us," he said quietly. "They told us not to attack. And they meant it. If we continue, we will not escape." In the distance, Earth's light shone softly. Humans moved silently, efficiently, preparing for the next encounter without fear, without haste. They were calm, almost serene, yet deadly in every action. Commander Valir made a decision that would haunt him forever. Pull back the squadron. Report everything to the fleet. Prepare defenses. And reconsider. We may have underestimated the humans entirely. The squadron limped back to the main fleet, carrying the scars of their first encounter. But more importantly, they carried the knowledge that Earth was not a world to conquer easily. Humans were intelligent, adaptive, and unpredictable. Back on Earth, Mara watched the alien retreat with a quiet smile. The humans had proven their first point. No attack would succeed without consequences. They had turned fear into strategy, uncertainty into advantage. And in the process, they had shown the galaxy a truth. Humans do not flee. They do not surrender. And they never let their enemies leave unscathed. The alien fleet regrouped, shaken but alive. Commander Valir stared into the blackness of space. For the first time, he felt something he had never experienced before. Respect and fear. The game had changed. The humans had set the rules. And the aliens were only beginning to understand them. Commander Valir paced the command deck of Eclipse, the flagship of the alien fleet. The events of the first encounter replayed in his mind with vivid clarity. The humans had not just survived, they had dominated. A single squadron of his most skilled warriors had been forced into retreat. This was unprecedented. "Report," Valir demanded. The senior officers turned toward him, their faces pale under the harsh glow of the command lights. Even they were shaken. Lieutenant Rax stepped forward, voice tight. "Commander," the humans' response was beyond analysis. They anticipated our every move. Our weapons, our strategy, none of it succeeded as expected. It is as if they can see the battlefield through our eyes. Valir nodded slowly. "And yet they're small, weak, primitive. At least that is what we expected." His words carried more uncertainty than he intended. "Prepare a full analysis. I want every human tactic, every pattern of movement, every known defense system cataloged. We will study them in detail. Perhaps there is something we are missing. Deep in the fleet's research labs, alien scientists pored over every fragment of data collected from the reconnaissance and engagement attempts. Screens flashed with streams of numbers, graphs, and holographic projections of human cities, drones, and unknown devices. Dr. Sellen, head of the Alien Intelligence Division, spoke carefully. Commander, the humans are remarkable. Their defenses are not simply automated. They are adaptive. Every system responds instantly to our actions. It is as though they learn from observation faster than any known intelligence we have encountered. Valier's fingers tighten around the edge of the observation console. Explain. Dr. Sellen projected a holomap, showing a small city where alien attacks had taken place. Every energy weapon we deployed, every drone we sent, was intercepted or neutralized. The humans do not rely on brute force. They use coordination, prediction, and speed. They learn instantly. They are not weak. They are dangerous. Dangerous. The word echoed in Valier's mind. They had faced many civilizations before. Some had armies, fleets, even powerful technology, but none had adapted in real time. None had survived their initial strikes without significant losses. And these humans, they had done so effortlessly. Lieutenant Rax interjected, voice trembling. Commander, there is more. The humans' coordination is not only local. Their satellites, drones, and defense units operate with near-perfect synchronization. It is as if the entire planet is a single organism, responding to our every movement. Valier's mind raced. The intercepted warning, the message that had shaken the fleet before even entering Earth's orbit, suddenly made sense. Do not attack the humans. They will never let you flee. It was not a bluff. It was a declaration of capability. Humans had transformed their planet into a living trap, one that could anticipate, counter, and destroy invaders before they could react. Could it be instinct? Rax asked. Some form of preemptive intelligence we cannot comprehend? Dr. Sellen shook her head. No, Lieutenant. This is learned, evolved intelligence. Humans study their enemies, adapt strategies, and implement them instantly. They combine prediction, technology, and tactics in ways that defy probability. In our simulations, even a single squadron cannot overcome their defenses without sustaining heavy losses. The entire fleet would be annihilated if we engage without caution. Valier's gaze turned toward Earth. The small blue planet glowed peacefully in the void of space. From here, it seemed harmless, almost fragile. Yet, his data told a different story. The humans' calm, almost serene demeanor was facade. Beneath it lay a lethal intelligence, sharp and precise, capable of turning every attack into a failure. He clenched his jaw. Pride, long a source of strength for him, battled against fear. Could it be that a species so small, so seemingly primitive, could truly threaten the might of the alien empire? Prepare simulations, Valier ordered. Every possible attack, every maneuver, every known technology we possess. I want to know how the humans would respond. If we are to engage, we must anticipate them before they anticipate us. For hours, the labs ran nonstop, calculating, simulating, and predicting human responses. Yet every scenario ended the same way. Alien forces overwhelmed, retreating, confused, and damaged. Humans were adaptable. Humans were unpredictable. Humans were unstoppable when cornered. In a private chamber, Valier convened a council of the highest-ranking officers. We are facing a civilization unlike any we have encountered, he said gravely. They are not primitive. They are not weak. They are evolution in motion. Every action we take is met with immediate adaptation. We cannot predict them fully. We cannot strike without risking destruction. Silence filled the room. For the first time, officers exchanged fearful glances. The humans' reputation as a minor species, barely worth their time, had been shattered. One officer, usually brash and confident, finally spoke. Commander, do we retreat? Do we leave Earth alone? Valier's eyes narrowed. Retreat is temporary. We do not abandon ambition. But we must understand them first. Strike blindly, and we will lose everything. We must learn from the warning and from their response. Dr. Sellen stepped forward again. There is something else. Commander, our scan suggests that humans are not alone. There are signs of alliances, hidden networks, unknown energy sources, possibly off-world collaborators. We cannot detect them fully, but their technology appears to be enhanced beyond what a single planet could produce. Valir's face darkened. Hidden allies. That would explain their rapid adaptation. If other civilizations have contributed to their knowledge, then we face not just humans, but a coalition of intelligence we cannot yet see. The implications were staggering. The alien fleet had assumed superiority, vast numbers, advanced technology, centuries of conquest. Yet here, in a single solar system, a species had proven itself capable of survival and dominance beyond imagination. Commander, Rack said, voice tight, we may have underestimated them entirely. Our pride may cost us dearly if we act too soon. Valir nodded slowly. Exactly. That is why we must be careful. The warning was clear. Do not attack the humans. They will never let you flee. And now I see why. They will adapt. They will trap us. They will destroy us if we overreach. Meanwhile, on Earth, Mara watched the alien fleet's movements with quiet satisfaction. Humans had won the first skirmish, and now the alien commanders were analyzing, recalculating, uncertain. That was exactly the point. Patience, strategy, and foresight. Humans had weaponized intelligence itself. Their fear is obvious, Mara said to her team. They are learning, yes, but they're learning slowly. We will let them make mistakes. Then we strike with precision. The humans did not rely on panic or brute force. They relied on understanding the enemy, predicting their next move, and controlling the battlefield. That was why the warning had been sent in the first place. Earth was not weak. Earth was lethal, and it had only just begun. In the alien fleet, Valir ordered a halt to all aggressive operations. Pull back the scouting units, he commanded. We are not ready. We need full analysis before any attack. This species is more dangerous than anything we have ever faced. For the first time, the alien commanders realized something terrifying. Pride, aggression, and superior numbers might no longer guarantee victory. Intelligence, adaptation, and strategy, qualities humans possess in abundance, could overcome technology, force, and experience. As the fleet regrouped, Valir stood on the observation deck, staring at the blue planet below. He felt a mixture of awe and dread. The humans had changed the game. They had proven that a small species, underestimated and ignored, could become the deciding force in an entire galactic conflict. And one truth became clear. The warning was not a threat. It was a promise. Do not attack the humans. They will never let you flee. Valir's hands clenched. The words repeated in his mind like a chant. They had underestimated humans once. They would not underestimate them again. But could the alien fleet survive long enough to understand them fully? Could they uncover the hidden strengths that humans had already begun to deploy? Only time would tell. One thing was certain. The humans of Earth were no ordinary species. And in the cold expanse of space, that knowledge had already begun to reshape the strategy of an entire empire. The unexpected turning point was complete. The humans had proven their intelligence. The aliens had learned their lesson. And the stage was set for a war that no one, not even the most powerful species in the galaxy, could predict. The alien fleet had regrouped, but the atmosphere aboard the Eclipse was heavy with tension. Commander Valir had spent long hours analyzing data from the first encounter. Every simulation confirmed one terrifying truth. The humans were not just capable. They were dangerous, unpredictable, and adapted beyond measure. Yet ambition and pride burned within the alien leaders. Retreat was not victory, but hesitation had its own cost. We will strike again, Valir declared to his council. This time, carefully. This time, we must test their defenses fully. Captain Tierra's squadron was dispatched again, this time accompanied by heavy cruisers, armed with advanced energy weapons and shielded with the latest technology. The mission was clear. Test human strength, push them to reveal their true power, and report everything back. The ships moved silently through the black void of space, sensors scanning for anomalies. Earth, glowing softly in the distance, seemed calm, almost naive. But the aliens knew better now. This small blue planet was a fortress, a trap, a lesson in patience and intelligence. Below, humans monitored the fleet with meticulous attention. Mara, standing before a holographic map in a command center hidden beneath the mountains, smiled faintly. "They are coming again," she said to her team. "Let them think they control the engagement. Let them think they hold the advantage. The moment they believe they do, we strike." Her team nodded, calm and precise. Humans did not rush, did not panic. They moved with logic, strategy, and an unshakable confidence born from knowing their strengths. The alien squadron approached the outer orbit. Drones were sent ahead, weapons powered, shields charged. The first energy blast fired, sweeping across the upper atmosphere, testing defenses. And then the humans responded, not with chaos, but with precision. Energy fields erupted around cities, diverting the alien beams harmlessly into space. Autonomous drones intercepted weapons mid-flight, redirecting them safely. Alien ships that attempted to flank were guided into zones of control, invisible to the naked eye, but deadly in function. Captain Tierra's voice cracked over the comms. They are controlling the battlefield itself. How is this possible? Every attack is countered before it reaches them. Valir watched the reports, a chill running down his spine. Every calculated strike by the aliens was anticipated and neutralized. Humans were not only defending, they were predicting, guiding, and controlling the outcome. Then came the most unsettling development. One of the heavy cruisers fired a concentrated energy beam at what appeared to be an unprotected region, a stretch of ocean far from human civilization. The beam struck, and the target seemed obliterated. The aliens cheered quietly, confident in their success. But seconds later, the ocean itself seemed to shift. Autonomous vessels, previously invisible, emerged and intercepted the fleet, forcing the cruiser into evasive maneuvers. The humans had anticipated the strike, predicted the exact trajectory, and prepared countermeasures in advance. "Impossible," Lieutenant Rax muttered. "They see us before we even act." Valir's hands tightened on the command console. They learn instantly. They adapt. They predict. This is not mere defense. It is intelligence weaponized. On Earth, Mara orchestrated the engagement with quiet brilliance. Each human unit, whether drone, ship, or automated weapon, moved as part of a single organism. The humans were not reacting. They were directing the flow of the battle, controlling alien movement with precision. The alien fleet attempted another tactic. They split into smaller groups, hoping to confuse the humans, create openings. But the humans anticipated the strategy, coordinating traps across multiple sectors simultaneously. Alien ships were drawn into zones where energy nets immobilized them temporarily, leaving them vulnerable to calculated strikes. Captain Tierra's ship was caught in one such trap. Automated drones struck with synchronized timing, not destroying the vessel but disabling key systems. Shields flickered, engines stuttered. For the first time in her career, Tierra felt fear, not for herself, but for the entire fleet. "Commander," she transmitted, voice strained. "They are controlling everything, every movement, every weapon. We cannot advance without losing ships." Valir's reply was calm but firm. "Hold position. Observe. Learn. This is what we needed. To see the full scope of their capability. Report everything." But observation came with cost. Several alien ships suffered heavy damage, forced into retreat by the invisible, intelligent hand guiding the humans' defenses. The fleet was shaken, morale low, and the concept of victory suddenly distant. And then came a final, unexpected turn. From Earth's orbit, a massive surge of energy pulsed outward, not aimed at destruction but control. The alien fleet found its movements restricted, weapons misfired, shields weakened, and communication rays flickered unpredictably. "It is controlling our technology," Lieutenant Rax whispered. "How?" Valir did not answer. The answer was terrifyingly simple. The humans had learned to weaponize prediction and control itself. Their intelligence had become a force field, a trap, a defense beyond any alien comprehension. Panic began to ripple through the ranks of the fleet. Ships attempted to retreat, but the humans anticipated that too. Autonomous interceptors guided them, herding the ships into predictable paths. Escape was possible, but only at heavy cost. Captain Tierra's voice was tight over comms. "Commander, we are taking losses. We must pull back." Valir nodded grimly. "Prepare retreat formations. All units, disengage and regroup." Even in retreat, the aliens could not escape unscathed. Systems failed, ships were damaged, and pride was crushed. The humans had demonstrated clearly. Brute force alone could not overcome strategy, prediction, and intelligence. On Earth, Mara watched the alien fleet slowly pull back. Humans had not attacked. They had merely guided the aliens' movements, controlled the battlefield, and demonstrated superiority without firing a single lethal strike at the fleet itself. "They learned nothing from the first encounter," Mara said softly. "And yet they believe they control the fight. Let them make that mistake." Valir stared at Earth from the observation deck of Eclipse. The warnings were now undeniable. Humans had weaponized intelligence. Humans had turned prediction into a tangible force. Humans were no longer merely a planet to conquer. They were a battlefield in themselves. He whispered to himself, a rare tone of fear in his voice. "They told us, do not attack the humans. And now I know why. They will never let us flee." The fleet regrouped far from Earth's orbit, battered, shaken, and forced to reconsider every strategy. For the first time in history, an alien commander faced an opponent he could not predict, could not conquer, and could not intimidate. And somewhere in the heart of Earth, humans prepared for the next move. The battle had been a demonstration, a message, a test. The humans had shown the aliens their limits, and the limits were terrifying. In the dark silence of space, the alien fleet knew a grim truth. The humans had changed the rules. They had transformed a single planet into a living, thinking trap. And the galaxy had never seen anything like it. The skirmish was over, but the war was only beginning. The council chamber of the Eclipse was silent, yet heavy with tension. Commander Valir stood at the head of the table, his gaze fixed on the holographic display of Earth. The small blue planet glowed softly in the darkness of space, deceptively calm. Outside the reinforced walls, the alien fleet hummed with activity, repairing damage in the failed skirmish. But inside, the air was thick with unease. This was unprecedented. Never before had an alien fleet faced such a threat from a single planet. Never before had a species been so small, so seemingly primitive, yet capable of controlling the battlefield so completely. And never before had Valir felt fear, not for himself, but for the fate of his empire. "Commander," began Admiral Torin, voice steady but strained, "the humans are not ordinary. Our reconnaissance units confirm that their technology is adaptive, predictive, and synchronized across the entire planet. They anticipate every move. Even our retreat was guided by them." Valir nodded, his face stern. "Yes, and this is only what we have observed. We cannot yet know the full extent of their capabilities. But one thing is certain, we underestimated them, and it could have cost us dearly." Another officer, General Kael'war, slammed a clawed hand against the table. "Underestimated them? Commander, we are an empire that has conquered hundreds of civilizations. Are you seriously telling us we cannot deal with a single planet?" Valir's gaze turned cold. "We are not dealing with a single planet, General. We are dealing with a species that turns knowledge, strategy, and adaptation into a weapon. They do not fight like others. They do not retreat. They do not surrender. They control the battlefield itself." A murmur spread across the council. Officers exchanged uneasy glances. Pride, long a shield against fear, wavered. Admiral Torin leaned forward. "Commander, if we engage with full force now, we risk annihilation. Their defenses, both visible and hidden, could destroy our entire fleet. We must reconsider our strategy before any further action." "Reconsider?" General Kael'war spat the word. "Reconsider? Retreating now is cowardice. Our pride, our honor, our empire. Do you expect us to bow to a species barely emerging from primitive technology?" Valir's eyes narrowed. "This is not about pride. This is about survival. Pride will not save us from a species that can predict our every action. Honor will not protect our ships from invisible forces. Do you not see, KOYR? We face something entirely new. Something we cannot yet understand. The chamber fell silent. Even KOYR, normally brash and unyielding, felt the weight of truth pressing down. The humans had weaponized intelligence. They had transformed strategy into a living, breathing force that could anticipate counter and control. And the alien fleet had felt the consequences firsthand. Dr. Selen, the head of intelligence, stepped forward. "Commander, if I may," she said, her voice measured. "Our scans suggest that humans may not be alone. Signals and energy patterns indicate hidden alliances, possibly with off-world civilizations. We cannot confirm the source, but it is clear their technology and strategy exceed what a single planet should possess." Valir's mind raced. Hidden allies, unknown technology. Humans were not merely strong. They were enhanced, prepared, and aware of the galaxy in ways the fleet could not yet comprehend. "This changes everything," Valir said slowly. "If humans have allies or technology beyond our detection, then every calculation we have made about engagement is flawed. We could lose not just this fleet, but the entire sector." Admiral Torin nodded gravely. "Commander, I recommend a temporary withdrawal. We need time to analyze, to understand, and to prepare. Engaging blindly would be suicide." General KOYR growled. "Withdrawal is weakness. We have enemies across the galaxy. We do not retreat from one planet. We strike, we conquer, and we take what is ours." Valir's voice was calm but deadly. "And what happens when your strike fails? You saw what a small squadron endured. KOYR, you saw their tactics, their prediction, their control. Do you not understand? This is not mere defense. This is evolution in motion. This species will not yield. They will adapt. They will anticipate. And they will destroy us if we are careless." A tense silence followed. The council understood the truth in Valir's words, though none wanted to admit it. Pride clashed with survival instincts, and debate raged silently in the room. Diplomacy? With creatures who barely understand the galaxy? You would bargain with potential annihilation? "We are not weaklings, Torin." Admiral Torin broke the silence. "Commander, we must consider diplomacy. We do not yet know the full extent of their intentions. Perhaps contact, observation, or even negotiation could provide insight. If we engage aggressively, we risk provoking a force we cannot control." General KOYR's claws tightened on the table. "Diplomacy? With creatures who barely understand the galaxy? You would bargain with potential annihilation? We are not weaklings, Torin." Valir raised a hand. "Silence. We are not negotiating pride or strength. We are negotiating survival. And I tell you, any direct strike without full knowledge is not strength, it is death." Dr. Selen projected a holographic simulation of Earth's defenses. Energy fields, autonomous drones, predictive targeting systems, all highlighted in red, flashing continuously as alien attacks were countered. The council watched in stunned silence. Every strategy, every attack, every maneuver the fleet could employ was accounted for, predicted, and neutralized. "They anticipate everything," Selen said softly. "Every move, every weapon, every tactic. Even our retreat patterns are visible to them. This is beyond strategy. It is control of the battlefield itself." Valir nodded grimly. "Exactly. And now we know why the warning was sent. Do not attack the humans. They will never let you flee." It was not empty words. It was a promise, and they have already begun to fulfill it. The council debated the next steps. Some argued for cautious observation, learning all they could before attempting another engagement. Others argued for a full retreat to regroup and fortify elsewhere in the sector. Few, if any, argued for immediate attack. Fear had entered the hearts of even the most battle-hardened officers. Admiral Torin spoke again. "Commander, if we continue aggressive action, we must anticipate losses. Heavy losses. Even the strongest fleet could be crippled. If humans have hidden allies or unknown technology, the consequences could be catastrophic." Valir's voice dropped, almost a whisper. "And if we hesitate too long, the humans may grow stronger. They will adapt further, prepare more, and perhaps strike first. We must balance caution with timing. One wrong step, one miscalculation, and this empire may lose everything. General Kilwyar's pride flared, but even he sensed the truth. The humans had changed the rules. The small, seemingly weak species had proven that strategy, intelligence, and anticipation could overcome brute force and advanced technology. The alien commanders had no choice but to respect, fear, and understand their opponents before making another move. Finally, Valir raised his hand, and in the debate, we will observe, we will analyze, and we will prepare. But one thing is clear, we will not attack blindly. Not now, not ever. The humans are not merely a species. They are a force, and if we underestimate them again, we will not survive. The council nodded, subdued but understanding. The alien fleet had faced many civilizations, many wars, and many victories. But Earth and its humans had proven themselves unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Valir turned to the observation window, staring at the blue planet below. Calm, peaceful, innocent, yet deadly in ways he could scarcely comprehend. They warned us, he murmured. And now we know why. They will never let us flee. And perhaps, for the first time, we truly understand fear. Outside the chamber, the fleet began preparations, not for attack, but for observation. Sensors were calibrated, simulations ran continuously, and intelligence teams worked around the clock. Every detail of human life, technology, and behavior was studied, cataloged, and analyzed. Somewhere on Earth, Mara smiled faintly. She had anticipated this. The alien fleet's pride would prevent them from understanding fully. They would study, observe, and hesitate. And in that hesitation, the humans had the advantage. The council's debate was over, but the war was far from finished. Humans had set the stage. Aliens had learned the limits of their power. And the galaxy had begun to witness a species that would not surrender, that would not retreat, and that would never allow an enemy to flee unscathed. The alien empire had a decision to make. Proceed with caution, or risk everything in a conflict that they were no longer certain they could win. And the humans were ready for whatever came next. Deep within the heart of Earth, far from the prying eyes of alien sensors, humans had a secret. It was not obvious, nor could it be detected by standard scans or conventional technology. It was subtle, yet powerful, a network of intelligence, strategy, and unseen weapons that had grown silently over decades. Mara walked through a vast underground command center, her footsteps echoing softly. Around her, holographic maps of the solar system, alien fleet positions, and orbital paths pulsed with light. Each movement of the alien ships was tracked, anticipated, and calculated. Humans had not only survived, they had prepared for every possible engagement, long before the first alien sensors had even reached orbit. Her second-in-command, a quiet strategist named Jaren, approached. Mara, the alien fleet is analyzing their failures. They will attempt another strike soon, but they do not understand the full extent of our capabilities. How much longer should we let them believe they have the advantage? Mara smiled faintly. Let them. Pride will guide them into mistakes. Observation will teach them nothing without experience. When they think they understand us, that is when we strike precisely, efficiently, and decisively. In another section of the command center, engineers monitored a complex system that extended from Earth's surface to orbit. Invisible energy fields, cloaked satellites, and autonomous drones were all interconnected, forming a network that could control, predict, and manipulate any object in the sky. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, yet deadly. Every alien ship that approached Earth encountered the system, often before the crew realized it existed. This is why the first skirmish failed, one engineer explained. They saw only the surface defenses, the cities, the energy shields, but they could not detect the network. They could not anticipate that every maneuver they made was being guided, corrected, and countered. Mara nodded. The humans did not invent this overnight. It has been evolving silently for decades. Every technological advancement, every experiment, every observation has been integrated into a single system. The aliens do not see it. They do not understand it. And they never will until it's too late. Above Earth, the alien fleet floated tens of thousands of kilometers from the planet, debating their next move. Commander Valir had ordered patience. observation, learning. But even patience had limits. Pride and curiosity burned within the officers. They wanted answers. They wanted control. And they wanted to test the humans once more. Unknown to them, the humans had prepared a demonstration. Not an attack, but a reveal. Mara stood before the holographic map, her finger tracing the alien fleet's formation. "We will show them a fraction of our power," she said. "Not enough to destroy them, but enough to let them understand. They must know that we are not merely reactive. We are proactive, strategic, and lethal." Jaren raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure this is wise? Revealing any part of our secret could be dangerous." Mara's eyes were calm, almost cold. "Dangerous? Perhaps. But underestimating us is far more dangerous. They must see what they face, and it must leave no doubt. Pride will guide them into mistakes, and mistakes will teach them their limits." The humans activated the orbital system. Satellites, drones, and energy fields synchronized instantly. A soft glow spread across the planet, invisible to the naked eye but detectable in the electromagnetic spectrum. In orbit, alien sensors picked up the signal. Lights blinked on their displays, alarms sounded, and confusion rippled through the fleet. "Commander," Lieutenant Rack said, voice tight, "we are detecting something. It is not a fleet, not weapons, but it is everywhere. It is controlling space itself around Earth." Valir's jaw clenched. "Impossible," he whispered, but the data did not lie. Every sensor, every probe, every ship was being monitored, guided, and restricted. The humans had revealed the tip of the iceberg, a layer of control that turned the battlefield into a living system. "Show them more," Mara said quietly. "Let them understand the full scope." From Earth, drones accelerated into orbit, cloaked and nearly invisible. They moved with precision, intercepting alien signals, redirecting them, and feeding false data back into the fleet's analysis. Alien ships found their maneuvers limited, their weapons misfiring, and their communications disrupted. Every action was anticipated, yet nothing was overtly destructive. It was a subtle, precise warning. The humans controlled the battlefield, and the alien fleet was trapped in it. Valir realized the full truth. Humans were not just strong. They were beyond prediction. Every simulation, every calculation, every scenario the aliens had imagined failed to capture the humans' capabilities. "They control everything," Rax muttered, awe and fear mingling in his voice. "Every ship, every system, they are guiding us. We cannot act without their knowledge." Valir remained silent, staring at the data streams. He had faced civilizations that destroyed planets with a single strike. He had faced species that annihilated entire fleets in moments. But nothing he had encountered was like this. Humans were not merely defending. They were orchestrating, controlling, and predicting with a precision that defied comprehension. "Prepare a report," Valir said slowly. "Document every detail, every system, every maneuver. The Council must understand what we face. This species is unlike anything in the galaxy." Meanwhile, humans continued their observation. They did not panic. They did not celebrate. They had revealed only a fraction of their power. The alien fleet was aware that they were being controlled, guided, and anticipated, but they did not know the full extent. "Let them think this is all we have," Mara said. "They will learn soon enough that it is only the beginning." Back on the Eclipse, Valir convened the Council. The aliens debated, feared, and analyzed, but even their combined experience could not fully grasp what the humans had accomplished. Data streams, simulations, and projections showed patterns that no algorithm could predict fully. Humans were intelligence made tangible, a force beyond destruction, beyond prediction, and beyond control. "This is not just a species," Valir said, voice low and tense. "They are a system, a weapon, a mind that can control, guide, and trap. If we attack without understanding fully, we will be destroyed." Admiral Torin nodded. "Commander, we underestimated them. Every simulation shows failure if we act without caution. Their secret, whatever it is, gives them an advantage we cannot match with brute force alone." General Kale Wyar remained silent, pride, battle fear within him. He had wanted war, conquest, victory, but the humans had changed everything. The balance of power had shifted, and the alien empire had no clear path forward. Valir's gaze returned to Earth. The small blue planet seemed calm, peaceful, almost innocent. But he knew better. Humans were ready. Humans were aware. Humans had prepared for every move, every strategy, every conceivable engagement. They warned us, he whispered. And now we see the secret behind the warning. They will never let us flee. Not now. Not ever. And the galaxy will learn if we do not survive. Above Earth, humans quietly reset their systems, returning to a state of calm readiness. The secret had been revealed, but only partially. The aliens had glimpsed their power, felt their control, and understood the threat. Yet the full scale remained hidden, waiting for the moment when it would decide the outcome of a war no one had yet imagined. The stage was set for the final confrontation. The human secret had been revealed. The aliens had seen the impossible, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The alien fleet loomed above Earth, a vast armada of sleek, menacing ships. Commander Valir had ordered restraint, studied every data stream, and recalculated every strategy. Yet pride and curiosity still burned within his officers. They wanted answers. They wanted power, and they wanted to test the humans' limits. Below, the humans prepared. Mara stood at the command center, calm as ever. The holographic display showed every alien ship, every movement, every calculated trajectory. Humans had predicted this moment for decades. Not the exact day, perhaps, but the patterns, the weaknesses, the psychology of an invading force. This is it, Mara said quietly to her team. They believe they can strike. They believe they can dominate. They will learn we control everything. Jaren, her second-in-command, nodded. All systems ready, Mara. Satellites, drones, orbital defenses. Every layer synchronized. Even our decoys are prepared to mislead them. We can anticipate their next move. Mara smiled faintly. Good. Let them believe they have the advantage. Pride will guide them into mistakes. That is when the real confrontation begins. The alien fleet advanced slowly, confident yet cautious. Sensors scanned for anomalies, seeking weaknesses in the humans' defenses. The first energy pulses fired, a test, precise, but not fully lethal. And immediately they failed. Invisible energy fields erupted around orbital paths, redirecting the beams harmlessly into space. Autonomous drones intercepted projectiles, neutralizing attacks before alien crews realized what happened. Alien ships attempted flanking maneuvers, only to find their paths blocked by invisible barriers. Forces guided with perfect precision. Captain Tierra's voice trembled over comms. Commander, they are everywhere. Every move, every shot, anticipated. We cannot act without their knowledge. Valir gritted his teeth. Pride and fear warred within him. Hold position. Observe. Learn. We must understand before we strike. But humans were not merely defensive. This time, Mara allowed the alien fleet to advance into zones carefully prepared. Energy grids, drones, and orbital systems guided their movement, herding ships into predictable patterns without the aliens realizing it. Watch them fall into the trap, Mara said softly. They will not know until it is too late. Suddenly, a pulse of energy erupted across the battlefield, not destructive but controlling. Alien ships found themselves restricted, weapons misfiring, shields flickering. Every attempt to maneuver was anticipated, every countermeasure neutralized. They control everything, Lieutenant Rax whispered, horror evident in his voice. Every ship, every system. We cannot act independently. Valir's face darkened. Yes, this is a human's true power. Strategy made tangible. Intelligence is a weapon. The humans escalated. Cloaked drones moved silently into the alien formation, intercepting signals, redirecting data, and manipulating energy fields. Alien ships, once confident in their technology, found themselves trapped in invisible networks they could not detect. Systems failed unpredictably, and some ships collided due to subtle interference. Captain Tierra's ship was caught in one such trap. Shields flickered, engines stuttered, and navigation arrays scrambled. Commander, we are losing control, she shouted. Valir remained grimly silent, watching reports. The humans had not even launched a single overtly lethal strike. Yet the fleet was in chaos. Pride turned to fear, and fear spread rapidly through the ranks. On Earth, Mara remained calm. She had planned this escalation meticulously. Every trap, every restriction, every guiding pulse had been deployed to maximize confusion without causing unnecessary destruction. The humans did not fight recklessly. They orchestrated the battlefield, controlling every aspect of the engagement. Prepare the final phase, Mara commanded. Let them feel the consequences of underestimating us. From hidden orbital stations, humans activated advanced kinetic systems and predictive targeting. Drones accelerated with near impossible speed, moving along calculated trajectories to intercept alien ships. Energy fields controlled motion, guiding enemy vessels into zones of constraint. Alien crews struggled, firing weapons, altering course, yet every move was countered, predicted, and neutralized. In the alien fleet, chaos erupted. Communications were disrupted, sensors failed, and crews panicked. Valir's voice was calm but forceful. Hold formation. Maintain order. Observe and report. But observation came with cost. Several ships sustained damage, engines faltered, and a few were destroyed not by human weapons, but by the humans' control of the environment. Alien vessels collided or were forced into restricted zones. The realization struck Valir hard. These humans were not merely a threat. They were an entirely new kind of force, capable of turning the battlefield itself against invaders. Lieutenant Rax muttered in disbelief. They are perfect. Every move we make, every weapon we deploy, predicted, countered, controlled. How is this possible? Valir did not answer. He had no answer. Pride, arrogance, and centuries of conquest offered no guidance against this unseen intelligence. The humans had weaponized strategy, prediction, and adaptation in ways the aliens could scarcely comprehend. Meanwhile, Mara allowed the alien fleet to continue advancing. The humans did not need to attack directly. They let the aliens' pride lead them into predictable traps, where every system, every pulse, every drone acted with deadly precision. The aliens were learning the cost of underestimating their opponent, through failure, confusion, and loss. Captain Tierra's ship tried to break free, but predictive energy fields guided her back into a controlled zone. Weapons misfired, shields faltered, and she realized the truth. Humans were not reactive. Humans were proactive, controlling every aspect of the engagement without even striking lethally yet. Valir clenched his fists. Enough, he ordered. Regroup. Retreat in formation. Retreat was complicated. Humans anticipated it, guiding alien ships into restricted zones and forcing them into controlled paths. Collisions, engine failures, and system malfunctions made escape costly. The fleet limped back toward outer orbit, shaken, damaged, and humiliated. On Earth, Mara watched the aftermath silently. Humans had proven their power, not through brute force, not through destruction, but through strategy, control, and intelligence weaponized. The alien fleet had learned the ultimate lesson. Pride alone could not conquer Earth. They understand now, Mara said quietly. They know they face a species that never surrenders, never flees, and never allows an enemy to leave unscathed. But they still do not understand the full extent. That will come later. Valir sat in silence aboard the Eclipse, staring at Earth. The fleet had survived, but barely. Every calculation had failed. Every assumption had been challenged, and every officer knew the truth. Humans were no ordinary species. They were a force that transcended numbers, technology, and even centuries of experience. They warned us, Valir whispered. Do not attack the humans. They will never let you flee. And now, I understand. Above, Earth remained calm, peaceful, almost serene. Yet beneath that calm lay intelligence, strategy, and control far beyond the alien fleet's comprehension. The humans had turned their planet into a living, breathing weapon, a system capable of anticipating, guiding, and controlling any enemy. The final confrontation had not been won by violence. It had been won by intelligence, prediction, and mastery of the battlefield itself. The aliens had faced defeat not through firepower, but through superior strategy, foresight, and precision. And for the first time in history, an alien empire had met a species it could not conquer. Not with numbers, not with technology, and not with pride. The war was far from over, but the humans had set the rules, and the galaxy would never be the same. Mara smiled faintly, eyes on the calm blue planet. Humans had won the day, not with destruction, but with intelligence. And they would continue to win, because they never fled, they never surrendered, and they never allowed their enemies to escape unscathed. The final confrontation had ended. The humans had proven themselves supreme, not through strength, but through strategy. And the aliens had learned the ultimate lesson. Earth was not to be underestimated.